Hello, my name is Noah Ray. I'm 20 years old. I was born in a small college town in Illinois called Carbondale. I moved around a lot as a kid. When I was 2, my family moved to Bakersfield. We didn't always move across the country. Normally, it was just switching school districts. This kept me in a perpetual cycle of being the new kid. Every 2 years or so, my family would pack up everything and find a new house for whatever reason. There was never much stability in my living situation at that time. Because of this, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. I spent a lot of time playing on my DS, which I still have. Uh, Honestly, I'm not in contact with anyone that I went to elementary school with. I get jealous when I hear people talk about the friends they've had since grade school. In middle school, my family and I all moved to Wisconsin. I spent about 3 years there, and we moved back to Bakersfield just before I started high school. Moving back initially was hard. We were staying with my uncle, but due to some family drama, he ended up kicking us out. We had nowhere to go, but luckily one of my dad's friends owned land and had a motorhome on the property, which they let us stay at until we got back on our feet. Eventually we got an apartment and I started high school. I was very lucky that I got to go to the same school for all 4 years. Despite this, we still moved 3 times while I was in high school, but I got an inter-district transfer and was able to stay with my friends. Uh, my senior year, I met a girl who one day would end up being the love of my life. Her name is Alexandra, but back then I don't think either of us would have imagined that in just a few years we'd be building our lives together. I've experienced so many firsts with her. She took me to Disneyland for the first time. During our trip, we really got into pin trading, which, as you can see by my lanyards, we were really good at. We've traveled a lot in our relationship, but I know the future has many more adventures for us. I love her so much for sticking by my side, no matter how bad things may get. She's always had my back. Without her, I don't think I'd be here giving the speech right now. In the beginning of the year, my family decided they were going to move to Michigan. My mom had hated California. The only reason she came here initially was to be closer with my dad's family, but after my grandpa passed away in 2020, she couldn't stand being in the same house he died in. Aside from that, all of 2020 was a bad year for her all around. She wanted to put as much distance between herself and the state as possible. So Michigan it was for them. I, on the other hand, decided to stay. I felt that I was finally getting to build my own life here, my own peace, and I wasn't able to walk away from that. I had so many friends here and a strong relationship that I couldn't just abandon. I have so many people here that are pushing me to be the best version of myself as possible. Right now, I'm focused on becoming a teacher. When I look back on my life, there's a few people who had a big impact on me, and most of them were my teachers. I took library science for 2 years in high school, meaning I was a library aide for one period each day. We were assigned bookshelves and we had to make sure the books were organized according to the Dewey Decimal System, that they were dusted and just neat. But there was also a lot of downtime in that class, which Miss Rude would fill by talking to us about all sorts of things: politics, music, movies, anything really. That class was a fundamental part of me becoming the person I am today. Because of that class, I understand the importance a library can play in a society and the impact that it can have on people. Uh, One day, I just hope to have that same effect on the next generation as my teachers had on me. I want to arm them with the knowledge that they need to get through everyday life, and I just want them to know that education is power and it can level the playing field in this insane world that we live in.